everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Happy Wednesday to you all. I hope that you're having a fantastic day and that, whether you're just getting up now, it's the middle of the day, or it's the end, I do hope that it has been a fantastic day so far. And if you are having a hard day, even from the jump, because I understand I can sometimes wake up and already be having a hard, tough day, especially if you went to sleep feeling so stressed and anxious already. I always encourage everyone to do the 5-minute reset, which is to take at least 5 minutes to be by yourself. It gives you the opportunity to reset, reboot, restart, come back to baseline, and also truly take a break from any stressors, anxiety triggers, burdens that you may have been carrying around that are really weighing you down and giving you some trouble. You can just take a break from those, just kind of lift them off your shoulders and take a rest. We all deserve that. And you're welcome to do the 5-minute reset as many times as you need during a day, week, month, or year. It is up to you. But yeah, go ahead and take a break. And also, if you're dealing with any problems that you have to resolve right away, face to face with someone, take some time to problem solve so that you can return to that problem after your 5-minute reset, or whenever the next time it is you have to deal with it, with a resolution to be able to resolve it and move forward. In addition to that, I always encourage everyone to make a list of at least 4 items that you are grateful for. Those can be really big things, really small things, or medium-sized things. You can be grateful for getting some extra time in on the couch to watch your favorite shows if your week has been super busy. You can be grateful for being able to finally take your dog on a long walk or hike because the leaves and the weather and the surroundings are changing depending upon where you're living, and you're just really trying to enjoy the current season that you are in or that you are welcoming in. You can be grateful for finally getting back to the gym, or finally getting back on a eating plan that is best for you, that contributes to whatever healthy goals that you have. You can be grateful for so many things. They don't have to be sky high things like grateful for being blessed with another day, or grateful for being able to walk or see or anything like that. Like, there's nothing wrong with being grateful for those things, and we should still continue to do that, which even today I was, because I think someone on Instagram was like, what are you grateful for? And like 2 of those things were my things because I was just feeling that today. But I'm just trying to make sure you understand that you can be grateful for literally anything, which makes your grateful list never ending. So that's amazing. So make a list of at least 4 things, and then before you end your 5-minute reset, I always encourage you to leave it feeling at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of your day, because taking the time to really take a break from everything that is stressing you and overcoming you should really help to shift your mindset. And then making your gratitude list should really help you change your perspective, and realizing that despite what you're going through, you still have amazing, wonderful things to be grateful for. And you need to spend more time. I encourage you to spend more time focusing on those positive things to help you get through the negative crap that you are dealing with. So just a suggestion, if you're having a hard day, take the 5-minute reset. But I do truly hope that you are having a wonderful day this Wednesday. Just a reminder that this week we are talking about how to be supportive. And today, Wednesday, we're specifically going to talk about the best supportive statements. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So I thought it would be super helpful to anyone that wants to get better at being supportive with their words to share some really great statements to say to someone you want to support. And I'm going to give you a good list of encouraging, empathetic, and supportive things you can say to someone in need of support that can, but maybe not all, but can apply to most situations. And I will also give you a brief explanation of why I think each phrase is really great to say to someone. I have a list of 10 because I feel like that's a good round number, and it makes it just enough options for you to go through if you don't know what to say, because a lot of times we can get into a situation where we really care about someone, we really want to help them, we want to be supportive of them, but we have no idea what would be appropriate to say, which on Friday's episode, we are going to talk about the things that you shouldn't do, and that will probably end up being a list as well, because I like to round out the week with a list of just items for you to think upon going into the weekend, into next week. So if you are wondering what you shouldn't do. That'll definitely be coming on Friday. But yeah, today I just wanted to go over some really great supportive statements that you can say to someone when you don't know what to say, or maybe just some reasons why these statements are really good ones for you to choose over other ones that you may be saying. Also, before we dive into the list, I wanted to mention that these I would say like half of these statements came from a list that was supplied by the Gottman Institute. Not all of them, but probably like half of them, because apparently they specialize in a list of really good, empathetic, supportive statements to say to people. They actually have like a list of 44 different ones online, so you can always just Google that if you want more than what I'm about to share with you right now. So let's go ahead and jump into the list. The first one is, I wish you didn't have to go through this. So it's a really, this phrase, this statement is really caring, and you are kind of you are empathizing with what they're going through. You are truly telling them that you wish that this wasn't falling upon them, that they didn't have to endure whatever they're going through. And when you say that to someone, it makes them really feel like you truly care, that you are on their side, that you wish that it could be taken back as well, and it really just reminds them that someone is in their corner, someone else also cares about them and wishes that they didn't have to go through this, and kind of just acknowledges what they're thinking out loud, which is really helpful and also comforting to the person that needs that support. The next one is, I wish I could have been with you in that moment. So I understand that this phrase may not be able to use every single time, but it's a good one because, if you are really close to this person and you really care about them and you are with them during most really hard situations, and you share with them that you wish you could have been when they're going through whatever it is they are going through, it really makes them feel like you truly care, that you want to go through thick and thin with them. And this can be a friend, this can be a family member, this could be your partner. It doesn't matter. I feel like this particular statement really applies to whatever relationship you're in, and I feel like most of them do actually. But when you are telling them that you wish you could have been there, you really wish that you could have experienced the pain and the heartache and whatever the toughness that they were going through with them as well, so that you could share that burden. And that really makes someone feel calm and supported, and well, they're not fully calm, but like supported and like fully embraced in whatever situation that they're going through, and that you're not afraid to like really get your feet dirty, like really get into the mess with them, so they can help them get through the tough times that they are currently experiencing. The next one is, I support your decision here. So I feel like this is a super easy one. Maybe that person had to make a hard decision, or maybe they made a decision that's just like not super popular, that they're getting a lot of flack for. I would only say this statement if you actually truly agree with the decision that they make. You don't want to just lie to them. You don't want to ever just lie to someone, or blow smoke up their butt, or whatever the phrase is. You want to actually believe and truly fully believe in what you're saying to them. So when you say I support your decision, you need to actually support their decision. So if you don't choose that one. There's so many different phrases you could choose, but if you do, again, this is just another phrase that's really going to have the person that needs the support feel like they are truly supported, like someone else is behind them in their corner, someone else actually agrees with them. That might help them actually not feel like they're crazy, or like they made the wrong decision, or they made the wrong choice, or that they're just so out of line. It kind of like reins in a lot of those thoughts that can really make that person spiral a little bit in their mind, which is super easy to do, especially if you have a long history with that. So if you are actually acknowledging, hey, I support your decision, I agree with you, I am on your side, it's like, okay, someone else is standing firm in what I'm believing in too. And when you have people in your life that actually believe the same things, that the same like beliefs that you do, it makes you feel even better about your choices, which can also be not the best, because if you're only believing in things because other people do as well, that's not your true beliefs and values. But you know what I mean? You just feel comforted when someone else is like believes the same thing. You're like, oh, okay, good. I don't feel alone in this, But sometimes I do understand that we do have to feel alone in the things we believe and our values. But it is nice and comforting when we just discover people that do believe the same thing. The next one is you are making total sense. Again, this is one of those statements where you have to actually mean it when you say it. So don't just go around saying this if you actually don't think that they're making any sense or you don't understand what they're talking about. Actually believe it. Be like, okay, yeah, you're making total sense. You're acknowledging that you understand what they're saying. This is really, really super helpful, especially if they feel like they are super misunderstood in the situation of whatever happened. So I encourage you to only say this if you actually are on the same wavelength as them. But yeah, when you say you are making total sense, you are just acknowledging that what they're saying is understandable, is relatable, and something that you believe as well. And it's just comforting, and it makes them feel like, again, that they are not alone in what they're thinking and saying. The next one is, I see. Let me make sure I understood what you shared. What you're saying is, so this one is one of the best ones that you could say. And honestly, if you would ask any counselor, psychologist, whatever, therapist, one of the best things you can do when you are working on your listening skills and when you are being supportive and empathetic of someone else is to, and just being a good listener in general, is to repeat back what you believe you heard so that you can actually clarify what they're saying. And it also, I forget the exact term off the top of my head. I did not write it down before this. I apologize. But it's just like a repeating behavior where you just repeat what they say back because it makes them feel validated if what you say back is actually what they said, or it just helps to clarify any parts that could have been misunderstood. So, let's say that they were going on about a story about what happened or how something terrible went down or a confusing situation, and you're like, okay, I see, let me make sure. And so it really does help that person feel validated that you are taking the time to actually wanting to understand what happened, to give a brief summary of what's going on. And it also helps you to really kind of condense it in your mind, because when you've been in the situation where someone is telling you something super dramatic, some long story where there are so many different pieces to it, and you want to kind of condense it in your mind so that you understand what's happening. And honestly, you can use this phrase probably in the middle of their story. Like if they take a break and it's like a 4-parter, there's nothing wrong with being like, okay, let's take a break and let me understand what you're saying. And then you can continue. And then even at the end, you can bring it all together, summarize it so that you understand what they're going through and there's no confusion, because it's possible that they tried to talk to someone else about this and it was very confusing, or they just didn't get it. And, it's nice to be understood. It feels so good to be understood. So I encourage you to use this skill of just in any time, not just necessarily being supportive, but any time that you are listening to someone and you just want to repeat back what they're saying in like a summarized, condensed version so that you can be clear and know that you didn't misunderstand anything. Because a lot of times when you misunderstand someone, you can jump to judgments that you didn't need to if you had just clarified what was going on or what's being said. Making assumptions will make a you-know-what out of you. I don't curse, but I think you understand the quote that I'm trying to say there. And you should not make assumptions. You should not be making judgments either, because you're not the judge and jury of anyone except for yourself. And even then, you just need to try to be more accepting and understanding and, be putting in the time and the actions to actually understand others, taking the time to do that. So again, I encourage you to use this phrase anytime you're trying to understand what someone else is saying and to practice your listening skills. Again, it's the phrases, I see, let me make sure I understood what you shared, or you could say said, what you're saying is, and then you fill in the blank, okay? The next one is, you are in a lot of pain here. I can feel it. So if you can truly feel the pain that they are going through, whether they're crying or maybe just in the tone and the aggressiveness of how they're saying it, maybe they just look sad, maybe their body language can really put through like they're slumped over or they're just lying down, or their facial expression is something that's really sad or down. Just really, and you might feel like you're pointing out the obvious here. You're like, Yeah, maybe they already told me they're in a lot of pain. Why would I say that? But even sometimes just pointing out the obvious, again, you're just validating what that person is feeling, what that person is going through. And that feels so good and comforting in the moment when you're just going through tough crap and you don't know like exactly where your headspace is and you don't know exactly what to do and you're sad and you're overwhelmed and you're angry or whatever emotion that you're feeling. It's nice for someone to come along and really validate that, yes, you are in pain, because sometimes you might go through the experience of going through something really tough, having these down emotions, and no one notices because maybe you have a way of hiding it, and so only the people that are super close to you will notice it, or people are just trying to ignore it, even if the signs for you feeling super down or that person feeling super down is crystal clear. You know what I mean? So sometimes when people don't know what to do, they will just pretend like nothing's happening, which is definitely not, I would not encourage anyone to react that way. I completely understand that it's scary and it's tough and it's hard and it can be super awkward. If you come across someone that is having a hard time that really could use a word of encouragement, motivation, inspiration, or a supportive statement, but you don't know what to do or say. And I do have a really good statement for you coming up next, if you are in that boat, but don't just pass someone by. So it's really helpful if you actually acknowledge that you see that they are in pain. Tell them you can feel it. If you can feel like it's just rolling off them, let them know that yes, you are acknowledging that they are in a lot of pain, because a lot of people might just try to also diminish what they're feeling and what they're going through, which is so terrible. I encourage you not to do that to anyone. And on Friday, we'll talk more about things that people can say that they think are being supportive, when really you're just diminishing someone's feelings and making them feel like they're being overdramatic, that they are putting out too much emotion, that they're choosing the wrong emotions and the wrong reactions to what they're going through, when that is a personal choice that everyone gets to make and is allowed to make. So please don't be out there diminishing other people's feelings, okay? You don't know how they're feeling. You don't know what they went through. And even if you do, you don't know exactly how it's affecting them. It's affecting them in their way, not your way, okay? Please remember that. But yeah, if you say, yeah, you're in a lot of pain, I can feel it. It just makes them feel like, oh, finally, someone acknowledges that I am going through it right now, and it's good when you're seen and when you're heard. The next one, like I was mentioning, if you have a hard time interacting with those that are having a hard time, the statement that you could say is, wow, I don't know what to say. So it's totally fine. It's absolutely fine to admit that you don't know what to say, because it's better than ignoring it. It's better than just pretending, and it's better than diminishing someone's feelings. If someone tells you that, oh man, I'm having a tough time, I'm going through this, that, and the other, blah, 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 and you're like, okay, wow, I don't know what to say. I'm not really good at this. I feel like I might say something wrong here. But the follow-up to that is also, what can I do for you? And there's another phrase that I'm going to tell you that goes along with that at the end of this list. But yeah, just be super open and honest. Let them know that you're maybe not practiced in helping people or supporting people, or don't understand the situation that they're going through, but you're willing to just sit and listen if they need to just talk it out. That's super helpful. Sometimes people just need to get it off their chest and they're able to go along their merry way, A lot of times I just need to get things off my chest, and then I'm just able to you just get out all the emotions, all the thoughts, all the anger and distress and sadness and whatever it is. And then you're able to move on because you just get it out of you, you know what I mean? So yeah, if you don't know, then just admit, wow, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, but I am here for you and I'm willing to listen. The next one is, thank you for trusting me with this. That means a lot. So you could also pair this with, I don't know what to say, but thank you. Like if they choose to talk to you about it and you're like, wow, I don't know what to say, but thank you for trusting me with this. That means a lot. Like really, you're basically giving them appreciation for them deciding to share whatever they're going through with you, which is a big deal because a lot of people, maybe the person that is sharing what they're going through, you know for a fact that they don't open up very much, or they only open up to certain people, and you are not normally one of those people, and so they decided to choose you because they feel like you're trustworthy, or they feel like they are confident in your problem-solving skills, your assistance, your empathetic words that you could say to them, whatever it is, they have chosen you. And so by being grateful and showing that gratitude, that thank you so much for trusting me with this, that means a lot. They're going to feel like they made the right choice. They're going to feel confident in talking to you more, and they're going to feel confident in you not betraying their trust and, spreading their business everywhere. And even if you do end up saying the wrong thing, by still saying that, still acknowledging that you're grateful that they chose you to talk to, and that this is a good relationship experience for both of you. The second to last phrase is, what has this been like for you? So I understand that this is like the first question that I've brought up in this list of statements, and it's not a statement, it's a question, but it's a really important question. It's an important question because a lot of times, you can say all those things and they're going to be great, but a lot of times some people just want to talk about it. Like I mentioned before, sometimes they just want to get it off their chest. And I'm not saying that this question is going to pertain to every situation, because a lot of times if you ask someone, what has this been like for you, maybe they won't feel comfortable talking about it. And that's totally fine. But at least you had the opportunity to ask them if they did want to share more with you. And whether they do or they don't is their decision. Do not feel rejected if they decide not to. It's up to them. Maybe they're not ready. Maybe they don't know how to get it across. Maybe they don't know what to say. Maybe they still feel like they're going to be judged for it. Don't try to beat it out of them. Let them come to whatever conclusion that they need to before they can share it with you or with someone else. But there's nothing wrong with being like, what has this been like for you? Because I would say probably at least 66% of the time, 2/3 of the time, that someone's going to answer this question. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's been so hard, or I've been dealing with this. And, it's another statement that really shows that you care, that you're there to actually help. You're not just offering a sorry and you're going to be on your way. You're invested in actually understanding what happened and what needs to happen next, and helping them brainstorm that. So by asking, what has this been like for you, it really opens the door to extend that relationship experience, that supportive, empathetic experience that you are embarking in right now by asking that question or saying any of these statements to anyone. And really engaging in listening skills, because that's what you're going to do. You're going to sit, you're going to listen, you're going to repeat back what you think they say to make sure you don't misunderstand, and then you're going to continue on the conversation. The last statement, which is another question that I want to share with you that you could say to someone to be supportive, is, what do you need right now? So when I was talking about the statement, wow, I don't know what to say here, you say, wow, I don't know what to say here, you could also couple it with, what do you need right now? So let's say that you don't know what to say. You're like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, but what do you need right now? And I feel like it's a really good question to ask someone because, well, okay, actually, let me take a step back. This has been debated. So I've read many articles that talk about how, you could ask someone, what do you need right now? And they might not have an answer. They might say, I don't know, or I'm not sure, or it might cause them to freeze up a little bit more. I get that. But I also get the side of wanting to be helpful and offer whatever service or, thing that they need and let them choose. And someone else might be like, oh, wow, I could really use this, that, or the other, or could you do this for me? And then if you are able to do that, then you say yes. Or if you're not, say no, but is there something else I could do? Which is totally fine. And again, on the other side of, not asking that question, because the opposite of that, a lot of articles have said, is to just offer to do something for someone, like come up with your own idea and just be like, oh, I'm going to do this. And like, let's say that someone is going through a loss and you're like, okay, I am going to make dinner for you and I'm going to bring it over at 5:00. How do you feel about that? So it's really tough, because maybe you know the person well enough that that's going to be fine. But if you don't know the person well enough, I do not think that making decisions without their input is the best choice, because what happens if it's not the best time and they don't even know what to say, or it's just awkward because they don't want to turn down the help because they feel like if they say no to you, then they might be rejected for you deciding to help them anymore. You see how this can get so twisted and so turned in the wrong way? And I understand that you may be like, well, that's on them. And sure, it could be on them. But also, I think it's on you if you decide to just make decisions and then, push out rejection if what you wanted to offer is not what they wanted you to do. And it's a tough subject because I understand that you also should let people help in the way that they want to help and give the gifts that they want to give. I understand that, but I think that the better way and the way to meet half in the middle of both of these things is to be like, hey, I would really love to cook you dinner, and I am available to bring it over at these times. Would that be okay? And is there a specific kind of food that you like? And you can take the conversation from there. So again, you are choosing to help in the way that you want, but you're also giving them choices as opposed to taking all the choices away, or as opposed to not giving them any choices. And if they are suffering from decision fatigue, then they can't make any choices and it's overwhelming. So I think that's the best way to meet in the middle, is to make the decision to ask them if what you want to do is okay, and also give them choices in regards to your gift or your way of helping them. But again, you could also, if you feel like it'll be fine, ask them, what do you need right now? And some people will tell you and other people may not, and then that might be the point where you have to come up with something on your own and offer it and see if it'll work for them, because you don't want to force things on them. Because if someone is not ready for someone to come over to the house to see you, or maybe they don't want to be with other people if you're planning some sort of get together, you got to give people time and space depending upon what they're dealing with. So, okay, you guys, that's the whole list. That is all 10 of the statements, with the 2 questions, the best supportive statements that you could say to someone when you're trying to support them. So thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, my name is Sabrina, and I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. I know that it was a little bit longer, but I definitely wanted to break down each one of those statements so you understand why it was good and how to use it if you don't know how. So again, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Check the description box for notes for the show, where to find me on Instagram, my email address for any questions, comments, concerns, or prayer requests. And I hope that you join me for tomorrow's episode, where I talk about the best supportive actions that you can do for someone else. But until then, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.